5:45 a.m. Yeah, 5:45 a.m. and getting my bike out of the shed, which is never a good thing because we're leaving today.
Prepárate. Let me see you jump.
French toilets are the worst places on earth. So we made it. We're here at the villa where we're staying, which is it's pretty awesome. But I'll show you some of that properly another time. Now it's time to get the bikes out and go for a ride. I'm passionate about cycling, love being on my bike, love being out. But I'm not a single carefree guy anymore. I've got family, got kids, got a job to hold down, and there has to be balance. And I think being on holiday is a perfect example of when you have to strike balance. Because youngsters out in a training camp will be out all day on their bike, hitting the mountains, hitting the miles. I can't do that. I've got to spend family time, I've got to have that balance with the wife and kids. So what I end up doing is I end up going out early, end up doing lots of short rides, I end up hitting the mountains when you know you're going to get soaked. But that way, everybody gets a little bit of what they want. Bienvenido en España. Right, how about some footage of a descent? Not something we get to see a lot of in the flatlands of Essex. Now, I'm not showing this to give any tips on descending. I am not the best at descending in the world. Not the worst. That title goes to the mod father. He knows who he is. But, you know, I'm not terrible either. But as the years have gone on, as I've got older, I do find myself getting a bit more tense on descents, and that's probably the one thing you don't want to be. When you're descending, you want to be relaxed and ease into each of the corners and not really worry about what's coming around the bend. But I do find myself getting more and more tense, you know, not thinking about it, it's just something that actually creeps in. And I think that a lot of that is to do with the fact that, you know, you've got to get home to your wife and kids and so on, get up for work the next day, etc, etc. It kind of feeds into what I was talking about earlier about this whole balance thing. Now this was an early morning ride. This is the descent of the Col d'Ibardin. I don't know how you say it, it's something like that. The summit of this col actually forms the border between Spain and France. Right down the bottom corner in the southwest of France, which is the Pyrénées Atlantiques, just south of Saint-Jean-de-Luz, where I've been staying all this week. If you ever get the chance to come down here, it's absolutely beautiful. It's not how you'd expect the south of France to be. It's very green, very luscious. It seems to rain quite a lot as well, which is not ideal, but never mind. A really beautiful area, and the riding is brilliant. The main problem with this area is that most of the place names have about 3 times as many consonants as you would expect, and quite a few of them are X's and Z's, which is all good fun, but pretty tricky when you're trying to pronounce anywhere or ask for directions, which I pretty much gave up on doing. It's not significantly high mountains, although a lot of the roads are quite steep, but you kind of got the best of both worlds, and you've got a really stunning coastline, lots of nice beaches that my wife and children really enjoy, and within a couple of kilometers you've got mountains up to about 600-700 meters, so not really high, but just climbs that are long enough to put in a 25-30 minute effort, which suits me down to the ground because I'm not the smallest of guys. Anyway, back to my excuses about why this descent was so slow. I knew that my family were waiting for me back at the villa, and we've got all sorts of things planned for the afternoon. Now if this was a training camp, then I'd be herring down here. I'd be giving it my all into every corner and pushing the bike as far as I felt comfortable with. But in this situation, I know that I've got an afternoon of visiting medieval towns and souvenir shopping, so I can't be taking risks and ending up being scraped up off the tarmac and spending the rest of the week with road rash that's going to limit what I can do. So you have to think about that, and when that starts creeping into your mind, then you're not going to be descending as relaxed as you normally would. Now, before anyone starts taking the piss, I know this isn't very fast. There were quite a few damp patches on the road. You can maybe just see some of them in the video, and there was a couple of times just where I lent it in and the back wheel just kind of stepped out on me slightly. And I didn't know this road. It's not somewhere I'd ever ridden before, and you never really know, especially when it's not open. It's quite sort of, there's lots of woods here and you can't see around quite a few of these bends. You never know what's going to be around the corner. Quite often it's a mad Spanish guy behind the wheel of a Peugeot. So you've got to take it a little bit easy. You've got to just be a little bit more cautious. But I suppose I averaged, I don't know, about 47-48k an hour down here. It's not very steep. It's about 5.5 kilometers long, and an average gradient I think of about 6.5-7%. Actually rode it the other way the day before, and it was quite a testing climb. Steeper towards the bottom and a bit more technical towards the bottom, some hairpins up, which are good fun, but I'd also noticed the day before when I was riding up that there's a lot of industrial traffic on here, some big HGVs. Anyway, enough excuses, enough rambling. It was a fun descent, but the main point here is that cycling's not the #1 priority in my life. That's always going to be my family, but if you carefully manage things, you're fair to those around you, you can have it all. As always, if you enjoy the videos, please subscribe, comment below and hit the like button. I'm trying to grab as much footage as possible whilst I'm down here, and there'll be lots more videos to come which I hope you'll find interesting. If not, I'm sure you'll let me know. If there's any ideas or things that you want me to cover in these videos, then again, please put something in the comments below and I'll do my best to try and cover it. And if you're new to the channel, have a look at some of my previous videos, and again, it'd be great to hear if you find them useful. So that's it for today. Time to open another bottle of red, and I'll see you next time.
Cheers.